Welcome to the 19th episode of the Reality Transurfing Fundamentals Series. Today we explore a fascinating and essential concept in understanding human relationships and energy dynamics: frailing. The energy of human relationships explained. Have you ever walked away from an interaction feeling completely drained? Or perhaps you've experienced the opposite. Those rare connections where time seems to fly by and you feel energized afterward. What exactly is happening beneath the surface of our human interactions? This invisible yet tangible exchange is what Vadim Zeland, the creator of Reality Transurfing, calls frailing. Frailing is not simply a psychological concept, but rather an energetic reality that underlies all human connections. It represents the subtle yet powerful currents of energy that flow between people when they interact. This energy exchange happens constantly, often without our conscious awareness. Yet it profoundly shapes our experience of relationships and even influences our physical and emotional well-being. At its most fundamental level, frailing operates on the principle that humans are energetic beings. We are not just physical bodies with thoughts and emotions. We are complex energy systems constantly exchanging frequencies with our environment and with other people. Each person carries their own unique energetic signature, a blend of frequencies shaped by their thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and intentions. When two people come together, these energetic fields interact, creating what we might call a relationship field. In healthy relationships, there exists a balanced exchange of energy. Both parties give and receive in roughly equal measure, creating a harmonious flow that sustains and nourishes the connection. You might recognize this balanced frailing when you spend time with someone and afterward feel refreshed, inspired, or at peace. The interaction has either maintained or enhanced your energy rather than depleted it. Consider those friends with whom conversation flows effortlessly. Hours pass like minutes, and you leave feeling more alive than before. This is balanced frailing in action, a mutual exchange where both parties benefit energetically. Neither person is trying to draw energy from the other. Instead, both are contributing to a shared energetic space that uplifts everyone involved. However, not all relationships demonstrate this harmonious balance. When frailing becomes distorted, one person may take more energy than they give, creating an imbalance that can become problematic over time. This imbalance manifests in numerous ways: feelings of exhaustion after spending time with certain people, a sense of being emotionally manipulated, or the nagging feeling that a relationship is one-sided. Zeland identifies several patterns of distorted frailing that we may recognize in our own relationships. Perhaps the most common is what he calls energy vampirism, where one person unconsciously or deliberately draws energy from another. This doesn't necessarily mean the person is malicious. They may simply have developed patterns of interaction that pull energy from others because they haven't learned to generate sufficient energy themselves. Energy vampirism can take many forms. Sometimes it appears as excessive neediness or constant demands for attention and validation. Other times it manifests as drama creation, the person who seems to always be in crisis, pulling others into their emotional turbulence. Still other times, it might look like criticism or judgment. Ways of establishing dominance in the relationship by diminishing the other person's energy. Another form of distorted frailing occurs when we become overly dependent on others for our energetic well-being. Rather than maintaining our own energy field, we attach ourselves to others, seeking to draw from their reserves. This dependency creates an unsustainable dynamic where both parties eventually become depleted. The giver becomes exhausted, and the receiver never learns to cultivate their own energy. In long-term relationships like marriages or close friendships, patterns of frailing become deeply established over time. Couples may develop intricate dances of energy exchange, with habitual patterns of giving and taking that become almost automatic. When these patterns are balanced, the relationship thrives. When they're not, resentment and disconnect begin to grow. Parents and children represent another fascinating study in frailing dynamics. Naturally, young children require significant energy from their caregivers. This is normal and necessary. However, as children grow, healthy parenting involves teaching them to maintain their own energy rather than remaining dependent. Adult children who still drain their parents' energy, or parents who continue to feed off their adult children's energy represent distorted, frailing patterns that prevent full maturity and independence. Workplace relationships also operate according to the principles of frailing. Consider how different colleagues affect your energy levels. Some collaborations leave you feeling inspired and motivated, while interactions with others might leave you depleted and frustrated. Understanding the frailing dynamics at play can help you navigate professional relationships more effectively, protecting your energy while still maintaining necessary connections. The concept of frailing extends into all areas of life where human interaction occurs. Consider your experience in crowded public spaces, like shopping malls or busy streets. Some environments seem to drain your energy almost immediately, while others might allow you to remain centered and calm despite the crowds. This is collective frailing at work, the combined energetic effect of multiple people in a shared space. Even our digital interactions involve frailing. When you engage with others through social media, video calls, or text messages, energy exchange is still occurring, albeit in modified form. Many people report feeling drained after hours of video conferences or social media scrolling, a phenomenon that can be partly explained through the lens of digital frailing. What makes frailing such a powerful concept is that once we become aware of these energy exchanges, we gain the ability to consciously manage them. We can begin to observe our relationships through this energetic lens, noticing when we feel drained versus energized, identifying patterns of imbalance, and making adjustments to create healthier exchanges. The first step in mastering frailing is simply becoming aware of energy flows in your relationships. After interactions with others, take a moment to check in with yourself. Do you feel lighter or heavier, energized or exhausted, clear or confused? These sensations provide valuable clues about the energy exchange that took place. Pay particular attention to your body's signals. Tensions in your shoulders, tightness in your chest, or a knot in your stomach may indicate that something in the energetic exchange was amiss. Conversely, feelings of relaxation, openness, and ease suggest that the frailing was balanced and healthy. Once you've developed this awareness, you can begin to set conscious boundaries around your energy. This doesn't mean cutting off connections or becoming cold and distant. Rather, it means being intentional about how and with whom you share your energy. It means recognizing when someone is consistently draining you and taking steps to protect yourself energetically. Setting energetic boundaries might involve limiting time with certain people, practicing energetic protection techniques before difficult interactions, or simply becoming more mindful of how much of yourself you give in various relationships. It might also mean learning to communicate your needs more clearly, letting others know when their demands exceed what you're able or willing to give. Another essential aspect of mastering frailing is learning to maintain and replenish your own energy. When we depend on others for our energetic well-being, we create imbalanced relationships. By contrast, when we take responsibility for our own energy through practices like meditation, time in nature, creative expression, or physical movement, we bring more to our relationships rather than seeking to take from them. Consider how different your interactions might be if you approach them from a place of energetic abundance rather than depletion. When your own cup is full, you can share generously without fear of being drained. This abundance mentality transforms the nature of frailing from a potentially depleting exchange to a mutually enhancing one. Zeland also emphasizes the importance of intention in frailing. When we interact with others with the conscious intention to give rather than take, to uplift rather than diminish, we create more positive energetic exchanges. This doesn't mean sacrificing ourselves for others. Rather, it means approaching relationships with generosity and goodwill, trusting that what we give will return to us in appropriate measure. The quality of our attention also significantly affects frailing. When we give someone our full, present attention, listening deeply, responding authentically, and truly seeing them, we offer a precious energetic gift. By contrast, distracted, superficial attention creates little opportunity for meaningful exchange. In our screen-dominated era, the simple act of putting away devices and being fully present with another person can profoundly alter the energetic quality of an interaction. It's worth noting that frailing extends beyond just one-on-one relationships. Group dynamics also involve complex patterns of energy exchange. Have you ever noticed how different the energy feels in various group settings? Some groups leave you feeling inspired and connected, while others leave you drained and eager to escape. Understanding group frailing can help you navigate social and professional settings more effectively, contributing positively while protecting your own energetic integrity. Communities, organizations, and even societies operate according to larger patterns of frailing. Healthy communities create systems that support balanced energy exchange, where contribution and benefit are in relative harmony. Dysfunctional systems, by contrast, often enable imbalanced frailing, where some members consistently drain resources without contributing proportionally. As you become more attuned to frailing dynamics, you may notice patterns in your own relationship history. Perhaps you've repeatedly found yourself in relationships where you give far more than you receive. Or maybe you've tended to depend on others rather than maintaining your own energy. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward transforming them. Changing long-established frailing patterns requires patience and persistence. These patterns often have deep roots in our early experiences and core beliefs about relationships. We may have learned in childhood that our value lies in taking care of others at our own expense, or that we must cling to others because we cannot sustain ourselves. Shifting these patterns involves not just changing behaviors, but also healing the underlying beliefs that drive them. One powerful practice for transforming frailing patterns is consciously choosing relationships that demonstrate balanced energy exchange. As you become more sensitive to energetic dynamics, you'll naturally begin to recognize people with whom interaction feels nourishing rather than depleting. Prioritizing these relationships creates a positive feedback loop, reinforcing healthier patterns of exchange. It's also important to understand that frailing patterns can change over time. A relationship that once felt balanced may shift into imbalance due to changing circumstances or personal growth. Being willing to reassess and renegotiate relationships, or sometimes to let them go, is part of maintaining energetic health throughout life. In intimate relationships, conscious communication about energy exchange can be transformative. Many couples struggle with imbalanced frailing without ever directly addressing it. Simply naming and discussing these dynamics, without blame or judgment, can create openings for positive change. Questions like, how do we both feel after spending time together? Or what helps each of us feel energized in this relationship can initiate valuable conversations. Parents can help their children develop healthy, frailing patterns by modeling balanced energy exchange and gradually teaching children to maintain their own energy. This involves both meeting children's legitimate needs and gradually encouraging appropriate independence, helping them learn to generate and sustain their own energy rather than remaining dependent on others to fill their emotional tanks. In professional contexts, understanding frailing can inform how we structure teams, manage relationships with colleagues and clients, and design workflows. Leaders who are attuned to energetic dynamics create environments where everyone can contribute and benefit appropriately, rather than systems where some members are consistently depleted while others take more than their share. One interesting aspect of frailing that Zeland discusses is its connection to intention. When we approach relationships with clear, conscious intentions, being honest about what we hope to give and receive, we create the conditions for more balanced exchanges. By contrast, hidden agendas and unconscious motivations often lead to distorted frailing patterns where neither party's true needs are met. Frailing also helps explain the phenomenon of first impressions and instant attraction or aversion to certain people. That intuitive sense we get upon meeting someone, the feeling that we either click with them or want to keep our distance, often reflects an immediate energetic reading. Our energy fields are interacting before we've even exchanged many words, giving us valuable information about potential compatibility. Cultural differences and frailing patterns add another layer of complexity to our understanding. Different cultures have varying norms around energy exchange in relationships. Some cultures value reserve and emotional containment, Others prioritize expressive emotional sharing. Neither approach is inherently better, but awareness of these differences can help us navigate cross-cultural relationships with greater sensitivity and effectiveness. The concept of frailing also illuminates why certain historical figures or public personalities have such powerful impacts on large groups of people. Charismatic leaders, whether positive or negative in their influence, often have a heightened ability to engage in mass frailing, creating energetic connections with large numbers of people simultaneously. This explains the sometimes irrational devotion followers feel toward such figures. There's an energetic exchange happening that transcends logical assessment. In therapeutic relationships, skilled practitioners are highly attuned to frailing dynamics. Therapists, coaches, and healers must maintain clear energetic boundaries while still creating genuine connection. They learn to be present and engaged without absorbing their clients' emotional states, and to offer support without creating dependency. This balanced approach allows them to serve effectively without becoming depleted. The digital age presents unique challenges for healthy frailing. Online interactions lack many of the subtle energetic cues we rely on in face-to-face exchanges, making it easier to misread situations or fall into imbalanced patterns. Additionally, the constant connectivity of modern life can sometimes lead to energetic overextension. We're on and available to so many people that our energy becomes fragmented and dispersed. To navigate this challenge, many people find it necessary to create digital boundaries, specific times when they're offline and unreachable, allowing their energy to consolidate and replenish. Others practice mindfulness around digital engagement, being selective about which online interactions they invest in fully rather than spreading themselves too thin. As we deepen our understanding of frailing, we might begin to notice that certain environments and contexts either support or hinder balanced energy exchange. Physical spaces with natural light, fresh air, and natural elements tend to facilitate more positive frailing, whereas sterile, artificial environments often make balanced exchange more difficult. Similarly, contexts that encourage authentic expression create more opportunities for meaningful energy exchange than those that reward superficial performance. This awareness can inform choices about where and how we spend our time. Creating home and work environments that support energetic well-being becomes a priority when we understand how profoundly our surroundings influence our capacity for healthy frailing. Another dimension of frailing worth exploring is its relationship to time. Energy exchange happens in the present moment. We can only connect authentically with others when we're fully present. Yet many of us spend considerable mental and emotional energy rehashing past interactions or anticipating future ones, limiting our capacity for genuine exchange in the now. Practices that cultivate presence, mindfulness, meditation, sensory awareness, enhance our ability to engage in conscious frailing. When we're fully present, we can more accurately sense the energetic qualities of an interaction and respond appropriately, creating more satisfying exchanges. The emotional dimension of frailing deserves special attention. Our emotions act as powerful energetic transmitters, instantly communicating our internal state to others, often before words are exchanged. Emotions like joy, enthusiasm, and genuine warmth tend to create expansive, generative energy fields that invite balanced exchange. By contrast, chronic states of fear, resentment, or apathy can distort frailing patterns, making balanced exchange more difficult. This doesn't mean we should suppress authentic emotions for the sake of relationships. Rather, it suggests that doing our own emotional processing work, learning to recognize, accept, and transform difficult emotional states, creates the foundation for healthier frailing. When we take responsibility for our emotional well-being, we bring clearer, more coherent energy to our interactions. Frailing also helps explain why certain relationships feel so nourishing, even when they involve challenging circumstances. When the energetic exchange is balanced and authentic, even difficult conversations or shared hardships can leave both parties feeling strengthened rather than depleted. The determining factor is not what happens externally, but the quality of the energetic connection underlying the experience. Consider relationships where you faced significant challenges together, yet felt deeply supported throughout. These represent instances of balanced frailing even amidst adversity, where mutual respect, authentic presence, and genuine care create a resilient, energetic field that sustains all involved. As we work with the concept of frailing in daily life, it's helpful to develop specific practices that enhance our awareness and skill. Regular energy check-ins, pausing throughout the day to notice our energetic state, help us track how various interactions affect us. Energy clearing practices like visualization, movement, or time in nature help us release accumulated tensions and restore our natural flow. Developing greater sensitivity to subtle energetic cues also enhances our frailing awareness. Notice the small shifts in your body, emotions, and thoughts during interactions. Does your breathing become shallow? Does your mind start to race? Do you feel a sense of expansion or contraction? These subtle signals provide valuable information about the energetic exchange taking place. For those in leadership or teaching roles, frailing awareness becomes especially important. Leaders influence the energetic field of entire groups, either creating environments where balanced exchange is possible or inadvertently establishing patterns of depletion. Conscious leaders learn to monitor group energy, adjust their approach when necessary, and create structures that support everyone's energetic well-being. Teachers, similarly, can either drain their students' energy through controlling, fear-based approaches or empower them through methods that honor autonomy while providing necessary guidance. The most effective educators understand frailing intuitively, creating learning environments that energize rather than deplete both themselves and their students. In long-term partnerships, whether romantic, familial, or friendship-based, frailing patterns tend to become established over time, creating what we might call an energetic signature unique to that relationship. These habitual patterns can be difficult to change once established, which is why bringing conscious awareness to them early on is so valuable. For those already in established relationships with distorted frailing patterns, change requires patience and persistence. Small, consistent adjustments generally work better than dramatic confrontations. Over time, as you shift your own energetic patterns, the relationship dynamic will naturally evolve. Remember that all relationships exist along a spectrum of frailing balance. Few, if any, relationships maintain perfect energetic equilibrium at all times. The goal is not perfection, but awareness, recognizing patterns, making adjustments when necessary, and approaching the process with compassion for yourself and others. As your sensitivity to frailing increases, you may notice that your relationship preferences shift. People or activities that once seemed appealing might lose their attraction as you recognize the imbalanced frailing they involve. Conversely, you might develop greater appreciation for relationships that previously seemed simple or unexciting, but actually offer balanced, nourishing exchange. This evolution reflects genuine growth, not fickleness or judgment. You're simply becoming more attuned to what actually nourishes you energetically, rather than what temporarily stimulates or distracts you. In the workplace, understanding frailing can transform not just interpersonal dynamics, but organizational culture. Companies with toxic cultures often have severely imbalanced frailing at their core. Systems where certain individuals or groups consistently drain energy from others without reciprocation. By contrast, organizations with healthy cultures create structures that support balanced energy exchange, where contribution and recognition flow in sustainable patterns. Leaders who understand this principle focus not just on productivity metrics, but on energetic sustainability. They recognize that an energetically depleted workforce cannot maintain performance over time, regardless of short-term output. They create spaces for genuine connection, authentic communication, and appropriate rest, knowing these elements support long-term success. Even our relationship with ourselves involves frailing principles. Internal dialogue that is consistently critical, judgmental, or demanding creates an energetic drain within our own system. By contrast, relating to ourselves with curiosity, compassion, and appropriate challenge establishes an internal environment of balanced exchange, where different aspects of ourselves can interact in ways that generate rather than deplete energy. This inner frailing affects all our external relationships, as our internal energetic state determines what we bring to interactions with others. Developing a harmonious relationship with yourself creates the foundation for balanced exchange in all other areas of life. As you work with the concept of frailing in your own life, remember that perfect balance is not always possible or even desirable. There will be seasons in any relationship where one person gives more than they receive, and other times when the balance shifts in the opposite direction. What matters is the overall pattern over time and the spirit in which the exchange occurs. Rather than keeping a precise ledger of giving and receiving, focus on creating a general atmosphere of generosity, authenticity, and mutual support. Trust that as you become more conscious of energetic exchanges and more committed to balance, your relationships will naturally evolve in healthier directions. Remember, too, that different relationships will involve different patterns of frailing. Your relationship with a child, a colleague, a romantic partner, or a friend each has its own appropriate balance point. The key is being conscious of these differences and adjusting your expectations and behaviors accordingly. The ultimate goal in mastering frailing is not to create perfect, frictionless relationships, but rather to engage in authentic, conscious connections where energy flows in ways that honor the needs and boundaries of everyone involved. This requires ongoing attention, adjustment, and sometimes difficult conversations. But the reward is relationships that genuinely nourish rather than deplete us. In our next episode, we will explore the declaration of intention, how to properly state what you want to manifest your desired reality. Until then, I encourage you to observe the frailing patterns in your own relationships. Notice how energy flows between you and others. Pay attention to when you feel drained versus energized, and begin experimenting with small adjustments to create more balanced exchanges. Remember, relationships are energetic dances. When you understand the rhythm of frailing, you can move gracefully and create harmony in your connections. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of reality transurfing. Stay tuned for more insights and practical guidance as we continue this journey together.